Welcome to our most recent update on senior financial assistance. We have great news if you receive VA, SSI, or Social Security payments. There are new ways to gain extra funding, and we can help you figure out how to take advantage of them. Discover how you might get an additional $4,873 in funding. We'll go over who is eligible for this money and how to acquire it. Discover whether you qualify for an additional $1,900. We'll walk you through the conditions and application procedure. Methodically guidelines for requesting these benefits. Advice on how to ensure that your application is precise and full in order to prevent delays. Important dates to be aware of, so you don't miss them. A list of the documents you'll need to gather in order to apply, and explanations of frequently asked questions. Any misunderstanding regarding these advantages. This video is full of useful information to help you get the financial support you deserve. Whether you're new to these benefits or just need some guidance, we've got you covered if you need help knowing where to go for further information and support. You are a senior citizen or get benefits from the Department of Veterans Affairs, VA, Social Security Supplemental Security Income, SSI, or Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI. This year, the federal government may grant you thousands of dollars in additional funding. We're talking about a substantial $4,875 one-time payment, plus an additional $1,900 recurring payment on top of your usual perks. Although it seems almost too wonderful to be true, this prospective windfall isn't a hoax or a too-good-to-be-true gimmick. Rather, it's a genuine possibility that politicians in Washington, D.C., in an effort to give elderly and people on fixed incomes, who have been disproportionately affected by historically high inflation over the past few years, further financial relief. Of course, nothing is certain yet, and there are still a lot of unknowns. The first concept has garnered bipartisan support, and seniors nationwide are anxiously awaiting further specifics. At the core of this proposal is a plan to deliver a one-time payment to the designated recipients. Specifics including who would qualify, when the money could arrive, and the ultimate payment amounts are uncertain. $4,875 was given as a stimulus payment and a type of inflation relief to seniors and Social Security recipients. The idea is that this sizable lump sum payment could lessen the agonizing price rises that millions of seniors are facing on housing, electricity, groceries, healthcare, and other necessities. In an attempt to assist stay up with inflation, Social Security increased its yearly cost of living adjustment, COLA, by 8% for 2023. But many experts and advocacy groups contend that this still hasn't been enough for seniors to remain their standard of living and purchasing power. With inflation this high and their costs soaring, seniors are among the most vulnerable. By giving them a sizable one-time payment of $4,873, it is hoped that this will provide them a significant boost. Bank accounts, and provide them with a substantial liquidity buffer to settle debts and settle past due invoices. Cover the cost of renovations or repairs to their house. Broken down cars and appliances are only a way to help with living expenses on a daily basis. The $4,875 payment sum is also not arbitrary. It's computed using a method that gives $550 monthly to people receiving the average monthly Social Security retirement income of about $1,800 for the first 9 months of 2023. This means that $550 x 99 months is $4,950, which is then rounded down to $4,800 $73. It's crucial to remember that even though more than 100 members of Congress from both parties have supported this plan and the payment amount, it is still only a proposal at this point and must be voted into law before the payments are made. Furthermore, the specific requirements for who would eligibility for the entire $4,875 payout may vary. The majority of plans state that it would be awarded to anyone receiving Social Security retirement benefits who is 65 years of age or older. However, some versions also include younger disabled persons who receive SSDI payments. Moreover, there can be income restrictions or phase ranges determined by tax returns. In conclusion, Even if the $4,875 payout is still only a plan and hasn't been authorized yet, it's a very real prospect with strong support in Washington. However, there are other proposals being made to assist as well. Seniors and those on fixed incomes are calling for an additional $1,900 in recurring annual payments to be added to the normal monthly benefits from Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and VA, in addition to the one-time $4,875 payment. This additional $1,900 per year, or approximately less than $160 a month, would essentially be an additional cost of living adjustment on top of the annual Social Security, even if the 2023 Coca-Cola rise of 8% was the largest in more than 40 years. Some argue that it may not have been sufficient to completely add an extra $1,900 a year to those monthly benefit checks to help seniors with the significantly higher costs of housing, food, utilities, healthcare, and other necessities. This would significantly increase their income and help the average retiree, who currently receives about $1,800 per month, make ends meet. Additional $100 from Social Security each month. Unlike the one-time $4,875 payment, which would be a one-time expense, $60 a month might cover the entire rise in rent or mortgage prices that many have experienced, or it could go a long way toward paying for sky-high grocery and energy bills. One-time payment. In subsequent years, the COLA would be calculated on the new, higher benefit amount after factoring the additional $1,900. This additional $1,900 would basically be baked into the annual cost of living adjustments going ahead. It would compound and expand over time rather than just being a flat one-year increase. But like the one-time payment, there are still a lot of questions about who exactly would be eligible for the additional $1,900 annually. The most costly and expansive idea is for it to apply to everyone. Getting retirement benefits from Social Security alternative versions of SSDI, SSI, or VA benefits may have stricter income limits that only apply to people above a specific age, such as 65 or 70. Or they may exclude specific beneficiaries, such as those receiving SSDI or SSI benefits. Additionally, it's possible that it will become tied. Even though important lawmakers from both parties are strongly pushing for these increased payments to seniors, the final qualified recipients and payment criteria could change significantly due to consumer inflation data only taking effect in years when inflation exceeds a certain level, such as 6% or 7%, illustrates the political momentum and attention that the impact of inflation on older Americans is receiving. From a financial standpoint, the key question is how much it would cost and where the funding would come from in the federal budget. The Impartial Group for a Fiscally Reasonable National Budget estimates that it would cost about $320 billion to provide the $4,873 one-time payment to about 65 million seniors. While that is a significant amount of money, some argue that it might be offset by allowing more tax revenue from capping high earners' deferred retirement account contributions, as opposed to the recurring annual $1,900 cash advances. Costs would vary depending on which beneficiaries qualify, but they may certainly exceed $100 billion annually. These are high costs at a time when worries about rising deficits and national debt levels are intensifying, but proponents contend that seniors have been losing ground to inflation after contributing for decades to Social Security and Medicare. They see these increased benefits as a well-earned improvement to their retirement quality of life and a safeguard against their purchasing power depreciating. Of course, nothing is fixed in stone, and a lot can change before any final legislation is adopted by Congress and signed into law by the President. Eligibility conditions may become more stringent or less stringent. Payment amounts may alter, and the entire system may collapse if partisan deadlock takes hold. However, for the tens of millions of more money from Social Security or other benefit programs would probably be welcomed with open arms by seniors across the nation who are struggling due to ongoing inflation. Even fixed-income retirees who have carefully saved and planned are finding that their nest eggs don't go as far as they once did. Far as they used to. So any amount of inflation relief payments, a $4,875 one-time check to pay off debts and shore up some savings, an additional $1,900 annually to cover rising grocery and utility costs, or a combination of the two, could greatly increase the older American's financial burden. Now that the final details are being worked out, lawmakers must actually adopt this inflation relief into law. However, with expenses continuing to soar and no signs of slowing down anytime soon, pressure is mounting to take action. Even if the final legislation differs from the original $4,800 one-time payment and $1,900 annual increase recommendations, any increase in income would provide much-needed support to seniors who are trying to make ends meet on fixed incomes. Retirees' financial breathing room. Critics claim that the annual cost of Social Security living allowances have not kept pace with the real rise in housing, healthcare, grocery, and other essential costs that drive the majority of senior budgets.